In our modern era of instant gratification and relentless pursuit of success, the concept of leisure has become a neglected relic of the past. Yet, throughout history, from the ancient Greeks and Romans to the Renaissance thinkers and beyond, leisure was regarded not as idleness, but as a crucial component of a well-lived life. It was a time for introspection, creativity, and connection, a means to cultivate character and nourish the soul. The ancient Greeks and Romans understood the importance of leisure in fostering intellectual and moral growth. For them, leisure was not simply the absence of work, but rather an opportunity for contemplation, philosophical discourse, and engagement with the arts. Figures like Aristotle and Seneca praised the virtues of leisure, recognizing it as essential for human flourishing. During the Renaissance, leisure reached new heights as scholars, artists, and thinkers gathered in salons and academies to exchange ideas, create art, and explore the depths of human experience. It was a time of profound intellectual and cultural ferment, fueled by leisurely pursuits and a reverence for contemplative living. In our contemporary world, the pace of life has accelerated to an unprecedented degree. We find ourselves caught in a perpetual cycle of busyness, constantly juggling work, family obligations, and social engagements. The rise of technology and social media has only exacerbated this problem, leaving us increasingly disconnected from ourselves and each other. We participate in an economy which is designed to extract the maximum amount of value from every individual which participates in it. There is little consideration for the moral or spiritual quality of the individual. It simply seeks to extract more value from people until there is little value left for a person to give. Then they are quickly replaced for the next person. We labor at our daily work more ardently and thoughtlessly than is necessary to sustain our life, because it is even more necessary not to have leisure to stop and think. Haste is universal because everyone is in flight from himself. In the United States, the industrial spirit has become the dominant force which has shaped its national identity. In the 1880s, the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche reflected how the Americans' pursuit of gold and the breathless hurry of their work resembled a kind of savagery in the blood which was similar to an Indian savagery. This relentless pursuit of proficiency, to extract the most value from an enterprise, to outcompete everyone else, is what he calls the characteristic vice of the New World. This savage pursuit of excellence and success is indicative of a general spiritual poverty within the population. Our energies are used up in the pursuit of wealth, and there has been little remaining to pursue spiritual goals, to cultivate our characters, and develop our virtues. For life in the hunt for gain continually compels a person to consume his intellect, even to exhaustion, in constant dissimulation, overreaching, or forestalling. The real virtue nowadays is to do something in a shorter time than another person. Our energies are divided. We pursue one vain goal after another until we have lost sight of ourselves, of who we truly are, and what it is all for. One of my favorite Renaissance thinkers, Michel Montaigne, once said, "The soul that has no established aim loses itself, for as it is said, to be everywhere is to be nowhere." As a consequence of our industriousness, we have forgotten the art of leisure. The enjoyment we engage in is the kind of enjoyment for overworked slaves. When we do take time off from our obligations, it's done with a little shame or guilt, as if we were somehow cheating ourselves or shirking our responsibilities. As Nietzsche said, work is winning over more and more the good conscience to its side. We say our need of recreation is for our good health, but this still has a tinge of shame to it. Perhaps today we could not live the contemplative life without some self-contempt and a bad conscience. One is now ashamed of repose. Even long reflection almost causes remorse of conscience. Thinking is done with a stopwatch, as dining is done with the eyes fixed on the financial newspaper. We live like men who are continually afraid of letting opportunities slip. Better do anything whatever than nothing. This principle also is a noose with which all culture and all higher taste may be strangled. There was a time when leisure was essential to living a life of virtue and happiness. There is an old Latin concept which was popular in Greece and Rome called odium. Odium sometimes meant licentiousness, but also referred to activities of self-realization. The concept originally expressed the idea of withdrawing from one's daily business or affairs to engage in activities that were considered to be artistically valuable or enlightening, like intellectual conversation among friends or the pursuit of art and philosophy. Otium was particularly common among the aristocrats of Rome and Greece. The Roman statesman, orator, and philosopher Cicero is one example of how to use leisure. For Cicero, leisure was not merely a state of idleness, but a time for contemplation, intellectual pursuits, and the cultivation of virtue. Similarly, honor, in Cicero's view, was not simply a matter of reputation or external acclaim, but a reflection of one's moral character and adherence to ethical principles. Cicero offers an important distinction between leisure and laziness. Cicero believed that leisure provided the necessary space for individuals to engage in activities that fostered personal growth and moral development. In his treatise on duties, Cicero praised the virtues of leisure as a time for philosophical reflection, intellectual inquiry, and the pursuit of wisdom. He argued that leisure was essential for individuals to fulfill their moral duties and lead a life of integrity and honor. The thing which is the most outstanding and chiefly to be desired by all healthy and good and well-off persons is leisure with honor. In Cicero's view, leisure provided individuals with the opportunity to reflect on their actions, cultivate their virtues, and strive for excellence. It was during moments of leisure that individuals could engage in self-examination, contemplate the nature of virtue, and seek to align their actions with their moral principles. By dedicating time to leisurely pursuits such as reading, writing, and philosophical discourse, individuals could enrich their lives and contribute to the greater good of society. Or in the words of the Greek philosopher and historian Plutarch, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." According to Ralph Waldo Emerson, a retreat into nature can replenish our minds and body when we feel exhausted from our work or cramped in the company of others. Nature has always been regarded as having medicinal effects for the weary. In the calm of nature, we can find ourselves again. To the body and mind which have been cramped by noxious work or company, nature is medicinal and restores their tone. The tradesman, the attorney, comes out of the din and craft of the street and sees the sky and the woods, and is a man again. In their eternal calm, he finds himself. In 2020, I lost my business due to the COVID lockdowns. Since I had nothing better to do, I decided to pursue my hobby of reading. Throughout the entire year, I spent my time doing nothing more than physical exercise, reading, and then sitting in quiet contemplation. I would read Carl Jung for up to 8 hours a day, and then spend the remainder of my time contemplating what I was reading. Looking back now, this was one of the best times in my life so far. Spending my time disconnected from what was happening in the world, I learned the value of detaching myself from the influences of social media and politics. I came to see that most of what I was spending my time on before had little value. During that time, I took a break from Jung and picked up Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, and this passage jumped out at me. The greatest part of what we say and do is really unnecessary. If a man takes this to heart, he will have more leisure and less uneasiness. What mattered most was pursuing an education and cultivating myself spiritually and intellectually. It was at this moment that I decided to start doing YouTube. I reasoned, the best way to learn something is to try to teach it to someone else. So I resolved to spend the next 10 years of my life in study and contemplation, and I upload these videos to share what I have learned. I used to be one of those achievement addicts who tried to use every waking hour to work so I could outcompete everyone else. After a few years of this, I had a brutal awakening when my health started to deteriorate. In the midst of these task tornadoes, I became anxious, got IBS, and exacerbated my already bad insomnia and joint inflammation. I was forced to step away from my work to recover. My time in solitude and reflection has taught me a valuable lesson. Firstly, grind gurus don't live very long. But secondly, and more seriously, in our pursuit of productivity and efficiency, we have lost sight of the value of leisure. As hustle maniacs, we fill our schedules with endless tasks and obligations, leaving little time for rest, reflection, or meaningful engagement with the world around us. Our obsession with success and material wealth has led us astray, leaving us spiritually impoverished and emotionally depleted. We have lost sight of the responsibility of truly knowing ourselves. To quote Montaigne again, "The greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself." These videos take some time for me to finish because I need time to contemplate what I want to write about. I never start a video until I have digested the material and feel comfortable with it. So I will not be one of those deadline demons that releases a new video every week. These will take as long as they take. If you wish to have access to my content faster, you can subscribe to my new Substack. I publish every essay as soon as it's done, sometimes weeks before I release the video on YouTube. Here's another quotation from Nietzsche which I love to contemplate in my time of leisure. "Leisure and idleness are a noble thing. If idleness is really the beginning of all vices, it is at least located in the closest vicinity to all the virtues. The idle man is still a better man than the active man." You don't think that by leisure and idling I'm talking about you, do you? You lazy bones? The consequences of this grind guru lifestyle are profound. We find ourselves plagued by stress, anxiety, and a sense of existential emptiness. Our relationships suffer as we struggle to find time for genuine connection amidst the chaos of modern life. Our mental and physical health deteriorates as we neglect the need for rest and rejuvenation. We should build for ourselves a place of repose, where we can replenish our energies, a place for deep contemplation and reconnection with nature and our inner selves. Emerson thought that the place of repose we build for ourselves does not need to have a grand name or be adorned with luxury. In a scholar's humble abode, high above the bustling streets, where the scent of ink and old books fill the air, another universe unfolds. The scholar, surrounded by towering stacks of manuscripts, wields the power of knowledge and thought. His realm is built on ideas and words, each page a testament to his quest for understanding. Like Adam in Eden or Caesar in his sprawling empire, the scholar reigns over his intellectual dominion, where every discovery is a brick in the grand edifice of human knowledge. His garret, though small and unadorned, becomes a beacon of enlightenment, illuminating paths yet uncharted. In this quiet sanctuary, the vast expanse of heaven itself is mirrored, showing that our true dominion is shaped by the boundaries of our imagination and the depth of our aspirations. Every spirit builds itself a house, and beyond its house a world, and beyond its world a heaven. Know then that the world exists for you. All that Adam had, all that Caesar could, you have and can do. Adam called his house heaven and earth. Caesar called his house Rome. You perhaps call yours a cobbler's trade, 100 acres of plowed land, or a scholar's garret. Yet line for line and point for point, your dominion is as great as theirs, though without fine names. Build, therefore, your own world. It is time for us to reclaim the lost art of leisure, to rediscover the joy of simply being. We must carve out space in our lives for rest, reflection, and creative expression. We must prioritize activities that nourish our souls and cultivate our sense of well-being. Whether it be spending time in nature, engaging in artistic pursuits, or simply savoring moments of quiet contemplation, leisure offers us an opportunity to truly become human. As the philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau famously remarked, "The more a man cultivates the arts, the less he fornicates. A man is only a beast as long as he lives like a beast." In embracing leisure, we transcend our animal instincts and touch upon the divine within us. We elevate ourselves beyond mere existence to embrace a life of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. This last quote from Montaigne is a personal favorite, and I saved it for last. Guard well your spare moments. They are like uncut diamonds. Discard them, and their value will never be known. Improve them, and they will become the brightest gems in a useful life.